This is year 2021, month of February. This is a short video about something called the Walmart test. The Walmart test is going to a Walmart or some other basic retailer that's abundant in the United States and looking at the kinds of computers that people buy there and making software that kind of targets those machines. They're typically going to be kind of low end, but um, they are pretty affordable. They're getting to the point that uh, these kind of nice looking all in ones are only like 350 US dollars. Um, they even occasionally have like the $1,000 kind of uh, towers that can that come with a halfway decent graphics card for like basic uh, gaming and video editing. The I probably wouldn't buy these myself, but it is important to realize that the machine you develop on is not necessarily the machine you are going to target. You might target something less powerful. Okay, you might develop a mobile app on your desktop. Of course, it's not going to be quite as the machine you're running it on is not going to be as powerful as the one you are developing on. I currently don't have one, but my favorite or one of my favorite computers is the Raspberry Pi. I know I can get online now and get a Raspberry Pi Zero, a whole kit for $35, and it's a pretty decent computer, all things considered. And if you could take it back just 10 or even 20 years ago, it's a pretty phenomenal computer. But we don't have Raspberry Pis or these small Linux desktops and laptops for sale in WalMarts typically. And I do kind of have to ding the Linux community. They claim to be encouraging people to use open source software, and cheaper computers is one of the great things you can do with open source software and even open hardware as well. We do need to be kind of pouring money into open hardware because we may not always have a permissive BIOS or UEFIs in operating systems. Most of the kinds of genres of software we use, and just put video games and video editing to the side for a second, please. Most of the stuff that we do, the genres of applications we use, are the same since the 80s, and yet while we get more computing power for the money we spend on computers, they could get so much cheaper, so much smaller, and this we could have greater, just a completely different kind of personal computer economy, in my opinion. There's a lack of some basic entrepreneurship among the open source community, and there is this assumption in software you can just wait for the hardware to get better, and you can make some bloated, lazy software, and that isn't true. So my conclusion here is it would be nice if we could somehow move computing needs of society back in time while still making these cheap but halfway decent computers, like the Raspberry Pi or the Raspberry Pi Zero. If we could somehow just get these things in people's hands. The silicates on the surface of the earth are more abundant than any other kind of mineral. It is easier to get computers in everyone's hands than it is to get food in everyone's hands. Um, So that concludes the Walmart tests and thoughts on the Walmart tests and Raspberry Pi. Let's get to it in the future.